Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap and welcome to another session on Success Stories series. Here we have today Mr. Saurabh Mahajan with us. He has recently cleared RBI Grade B examination and of the year 2022. So in this session we are going to understand the strategies that he followed to clear such a big examination, and we will also understand a little bit about his journey so that you know about the do's and don'ts which you can follow to make it to RBI. So first of all, Saurav sir, welcome to EduTab and thank you so much on agreeing to give interview with us.
Thank you, ma'am. I thank the entire EduTap team for helping me prepare for the complete phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and the inviting me for this interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We are humbled to know about that we could be a part of your journey. So, sir, before talking about, we'll discuss about the strategy you followed for phase one, phase two, and the interview. But before that, the audience would want to know about your academic qualifications. So, what have you done, and at what point you decided that now you want to be an RBI and you started your journey for that?
Right. I completed my engineering in mechanical, in 2015, and after that, I started preparing for UPSC for. I'm sorry, for a couple of years. I gave 3 attempts in UPSC till 2018, and after that, I completely shifted my focus to banking and insurance exams. And then I started preparing for RBI, especially for RBI. And this was my fourth attempt, and in fourth attempt, I can clear it. And in between, I gave many exams, including LIC, ADO, RRBPO, IBPS and I cleared them in 2019-20. So yes, this has been my journey, and yeah.
Right. So, sir, as you have said that you have given some attempts in other examination as well, and in RBI you also had to wait a little bit. So, how did you gather that motivation to just keep on with the journey? Because most of the aspirants who are watching right now, they can relate
Right,
to this, the
right.
constant setback that is shown in life. So, how did you manage that?
Uh, See, setbacks are normal. We are human beings, and we get setbacks. But it is up to us that how much we take it to the heart, and how much we uh, how much
Learn
we
from
learn
it.
from it.
True.
Right, how much we learn from it, and how quickly we move on. After results get declared, you get a huge setbacks, and it just feels like everything is not working in your way, and it is not going to happen and everything. But you are supposed to just take some time, meet your friends, the people who motivate you, who wants to see you successful, and then you can start preparing from scratch. You are supposed to just start from zero and hope that you will get there one day. So this is the only way that you can be in the journey, and not to let it go. If you leave it is not going to happen. But
True.
if you just stick to it, it will happen someday or the other.
True. And you are the live example that your hard work will never go in waste. And one more thing that you have said, and it's rightly true that it's important to be in a good surrounding, people who
Right,
motivate you, and especially during your preparation journey. That's really important what you have said. So, sir, so this is your background that we have come to know that when did you started preparing and how you finally reached here. So now let's talk about the examination itself. So, sir, we'll talk
right,
about phase one first, in which we have quant, reasoning, English, and general awareness. And in that also we have to first clear the sectional cutoff, and then there is a overall cutoff that is to be cleared. So, sir, to the
right.
aspirants who are watching it for the very first time, who would be appearing for the examination for the very first time, uh, could you suggest them the sources? And if not, so what strategy did you follow when you started preparing for RBI? We'll start with quant, reasoning, and English first, and then
Right.
we'll talk about general awareness later on.
Right. So, talking about quant has been one of the most difficult section for me personally, and the sources are different coaching classes, including these are the subjects that you are supposed to learn only once. You are supposed to clear. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So I was talking about quant. The quant has been one of the most difficult sections for me, and it is you can just learn it from some books. I personally didn't learn from any book. I buy some courses like EduTap or some other courses, and then I started preparing. Once you are just supposed to get to know the basics of these chapters. The chapters are similar for each and every example, just the difficulty level varies. So you are just like get to know the foundations right, then you can apply it and you can practice thereon. For reasoning, uh, it is all about practice. Especially reasoning is all about practice. Quant, you are supposed to know the foundations for first, but for reasoning, you are supposed to know the tricks. You are supposed to know
True.
the practice. It reduces your time to crack one question. You are supposed in reasoning, especially because there are lengthy questions. There are big lengthy puzzles. So you are supposed to know which puzzles you are comfortable with, which you have practiced well, and you are just supposed to choose the question. You are not supposed to take the questions onto your ego. Lots of time, I have seen my friends, and they just get stuck into one question, especially in reasoning, and they waste a lot of time, and the easy ones are left out then. For English, I personally did not prepare anything. I feel that reading newspaper and to have a basic general idea about the grammar and everything from the start itself helped me a lot. For general awareness, there are a couple of magazines, including EduTap and the other some, and you are supposed to follow them if possible daily, if possible weekly. If not, at least the month magazine is very helpful, and you are
Hmm.
supposed to revise it at least 4 to 5 times so that you can remember at least in your subconscious mind you remember some words. When you see them on your screen, you just know that this is the answer, and you can bet on it. So yes, multiple revisions and practice is the only mantra for phase one, I
Phase
think.
one. True. So, sir, in general awareness, there are different kind of questions are asked. Some are based on reports, some are based on schemes, and some are the general questions that are there, the general happenings that are currently going on. So, sir, if you have to rank them, how would you suggest an aspirant that they should focus more on? Should they focus more on schemes? Should they focus more on, or their priority should be reports or the general content, the general news that exist? Or what's your opinion?
Especially yes, for RBI, I think schemes are more important. And then comes the reports, the financial reports, which are major institutes such as RBI itself, World Bank, and IMF, and yes, this is what I think the sequence should be. Government schemes are the must. Then reports related to finance sector or any major like hunger index
True.
or the other indices are very
Poverty
important. And
index
after
and
the
all
general.
these.
Right, right. And then comes the general awareness, excluding all these, the general happenings around the globe, around India, are more important, I think. Yes.
Right. So, for content reasoning, you say the practice is the mantra, and even for phase one only. And for reasoning, you say you should know the tricks. For quant, you need more
Right.
and more practice because if your basics are clear, then you just have to solve that. But for reasoning, that the trick you need to know, because shortcut tricks would save your time in the examination.
Right.
That's a
Right.
key takeaway that we have got from this section. And for general awareness, government schemes, they are a must, and you should be thorough with that. And then comes report, and also the journal happenings are also asked, so you should not skip that for the examination.
And if you can let me add, just one thing is that you are supposed to know your complete syllabus, each and every word you are supposed to know. And also, secondly, you are supposed to know the previous year questions at least last 4 to 5 times. That lets you know the pattern that has been followed and which questions are important and which you are supposed to know and which you can skip, to
True.
save time,
True, because there's
to
a
work
lot
to
that
work
comes
smartly.
under. Yeah, there's a lot of content in general awareness. So you should be smart with it, that what you have to study and do not skip. Because sometimes what
Right.
an aspirant do, they mug up some details which may not be relevant from the examination point of view. and some important things, then their mind is not able to catch that. That's rightly
Exactly.
said. So now we'll talk about phase 2 of the examination, and in that we'll talk about FM and ESI first separately, and then we'll talk about the English paper. So sir, for FM, as you're from BTech background, and that's completely different from FM. So, sir, what sources did you prefer for that? And one more thing, we want to know that much focus on the subjects that are in FM, because sorry, in phase 2, because phase 1 and phase 2 they
Right.
have different subjects. So your focus on phase 2 is always after phase 1, or did you started preparing for phase 2 along with phase 1 only?
Yeah, to be frank, in my first attempt, I did that. For phase one, I just completely had my days in before phase one for phase one, and then I was like, let me clear the phase one first, then I will start preparing for phase two. That
True,
shows the lack of confidence you have in your first couple of attempts. But
true,
talking about this attempt and the previous one, I think phase one is phase two is the key. You are supposed to. You are supposed to practice it, you are supposed to mug it up if necessary from from a long time, because after appearing from these number of exams, you get to know that you are good enough in the foundations for quant reasoning and English. You are just supposed
true,
to give at least 10-12 days just before phase one.
true,
And but for phase two, it is a unique syllabus. It is not same for everything, same for every exam. So you are
true,
supposed to start it from as soon as the notification gets out, as soon as you decide that you will appear in the exam and you want to clear it, then you're supposed to start with phase 2 ESI FM, because ESI is very lengthy. It is completely based on government schemes and whatnot. I would say everything under the sun. So you are just supposed to get into it. You are just supposed to at least start just before phase 1. You are supposed to have completed the first study, you can say the first part of your study, and after phase 1 you can just start to revise and make notes and everything.
right, true,
For FM is quite objective, I can say, as compared to ESI. There is a limited syllabus, and they are quite objective that if it is yes, then it is no, or it is no. There
true.
is no in between in FM. But in
Hmm.
ESI, you are supposed to have some opinion. You are supposed to know facts as well as some data. So yes, I think phase 2 preparation should start from notification itself.
Right. So, sir, here one thing I want to ask about phase 2. Sir, as you have given multiple attempts of RBI, so you have seen the previous pattern also, where just only objective was there in phase 2, and now the time when descriptive now has been added. So, sir, first of all, what was your reaction when the this pattern was changed, and then how did you started preparing for the descriptive?
Yeah, it was shocking, to be frank. But in 2019, when the last time they had the objective type of questions, I reached to the interview stage, and I couldn't clear the interview at that time. But it was quite decent, to be completely on objective part. You are not supposed to know in detail. But
True,
come 2022, the descriptive portion, it pushes you to know the information correctly, to know the information in depth,
true,
especially the government schemes, the schemes from RBI. These are the questions which are asked mostly in the descriptive part. But as I have been the UPSC and MPSC aspirant, so I know the nitty-gritties of writing the answer. I did practice a lot in 4 to 5 years ago. So it was a shock, but it was manageable shock for me. So
yeah.
I managed it through.
Sure. So, sir, do you feel the importance of word count in examination, or do you feel that if content is good, it does not matter how much words you have written?
Yeah, I will go with the former. The word limit is there, but you are not supposed to follow it strictly. You are just supposed to note down your points. Each and every point that you have, it should be in your answer. So if, but you are not supposed to cross the word limit as well.
Hmm.
So if it comes less 150 words less, it's okay. Just you have to set your priorities, like you are supposed to answer all the questions. You are not supposed to go for each and every word limit. If you try and go to reach to each and every word limit, then you will skip one answer. आपका एक आंसर नहीं हो पाएगा. That is what you are supposed to know. that you are supposed to write each and every answer, but word limit is not the only criterion that you should follow.
True. So, sir, as you have prepared for UPSC initially, but that it's a offline examination, so you have to write all the answers. But if manually, but if we talk about RBI, then you have to type that. So,
Right.
then you used to practice for typing, or you feel like it's manageable, but the content is more important, and if you should rather focus on that.
No, both the parameters are equally important. You should know the content and you should know how to type and how fast to type. I used to watch EduTap's video, and then I got to know the importance. The previous success stories what the
Hmm.
earlier candidates told. Like, you are supposed to know. It is not. If you know the content, it is not useful if you do not know how to represent it, how to
True.
quickly let the other people know. So your time typing speed is very much important, and the content is equally important as well.
Right. So now, sir, if we talk
and,
about
and
ES, sorry, sir, please continue.
yeah, and for that you are supposed to practice a lot, because for descriptive, I myself got very lazy. Just get to know, or you just get to, insecure ho jate hain hum log, that
Hmm.
will I complete it or not, should I start writing or not,
True.
how do I get to know that my answer is correct or not. So you are just supposed to get out of your comfort zone, and you start to write your answers, be it 100 words, 200 words, 300 words. It will get into the line later on, and you are supposed to get your answers checked. Grammar is very much important, punctuation is very much important. These are the small parameters which you get your marks reduced. So
True.
yes.
Right. So if I talk about ESI, so between phase one and phase two, because ESI it's something where much from the current is asked. But
Right.
for the safer side, you have to take care of the static as well. But if we talk about descriptive specifically, so did you just revise all the static and whatever current happening was there, you were just being aware of that, or you chose some topic for ESI specifically and you practice that? And what topics did you choose if you followed this method?
No, I did not choose any topic. I just I looked at the previous year questions
Hmm.
and the pattern that has been followed recently.
Hmm.
What is given more weightage, like government scheme or reports or anything, and you are to follow a particular newspaper, at least two of them, be it Indian Express or
Hmm.
Economic Times or Live Mint. You are just supposed to be aware of everything,
Hmm.
because this time the descriptive was very unpredictable. Objective was out of the park. So descriptive, at least it was very unpredictable this time. So what can be asked, you don't know. So
True.
it is not like that you can select some topics and you can prepare for it. You are supposed to know everything, at least not into the depth each and every topic, but you are supposed to know the basic around the current happening, the stats that are backing up, at least couple of them, and you are supposed to form your answer accordingly: the intro, the body, and the conclusion.
Conclusion. Right. So, sir, did you follow in the descriptive writing? Did you follow the paragraph approach or the point wise approach?
No, paragraph approach. I earlier I had the NABARD means, and I followed the point wise approach there, but I think I couldn't clear it, and after analyzing that, I think that there should be paragraphs when necessary. If the
Hmm.
question itself asks for some points, and you have word limit, then you can go for the points,
Hmm.
to the point. It helps, yes, but it completely depends on your question and the time you have.
Right, true. So, so now if we talk about English, so for ESI and EFM, there's still a defined syllabus by the organization. But for English, there is no defined syllabus. So,
Right.
does your experience say something about it that this type of questions are usually asked in English, or it's kind of random and you just be fully aware of the current happenings and then only you'll be able to solve that?
Yes, yes. I think English has been followed in connection with the current affairs.
Okay.
The whatever is happening around the globe, be it sustainable development, climate change, financial awareness, or government scheme, recent in which has been in news a lot. So this is what is there, what is taken in English, be it essay topic or be it comprehension. This is what is followed. Uh,
Hmm.
it completely anchors to the current affairs part. I think English, yes.
True. So, so that we have pretty much sum up for phase two, the sources and the plans that you have done. So, sir, now let's talk about interview. So, sir, could you tell this was which number of interview that you have given for RBI?
This was my second attempt.
Okay.
I totally gave 4 attempts. I have not
Hmm.
cleared prelims couple of times, and a couple of times I have reached to the interview stage. And this time I cleared.
Right. So, sir, what was the reaction when you when you finally saw your name on the phase two result? And then after that, what was your next plan was how to prepare for interview? Because you have given once before. So was that the preparation was based on the learnings that you have from previous interview, or this time you just had a new approach?
Absolutely, it is a combination of both. I had the learning from my previous attempt, which I don't think I gave with my full dedication, and then I adapted a new approach. See, there has been a complete change in the interview I gave in 2020 and the interview I gave in 2022. Because in 2020 I was not working; I was a fresh aspirant. I was not having any experience of that sort. But come 2022, I have been working in Punjab National Bank for a couple of years. So there has been a lot of input to me from the banking sector. There has been a
Hmm.
lot of experience, and it gets percolated to your biodata. And the last time my interview went on my completely around the general awareness, the my personal life. But this time my interview completely went on my biodata because it has been filled with my experience. So yes, my this time my interview completely went on my biodata.
So, so, sir, what sources did you refer for preparing yourself for the interview?
First of all, EduTap. The mock interviews, the free videos that you post on YouTube. Including yourself, the schemes video,
Hmm.
then the financial reports and everything. That is what is more important. Because you can be asked a question, anything related to what is there on your interview date as well. I remember one of my friend who had an interview just before me. He was asked about global hunger index, I think, which was released on that date, and it was in the news on 9 p.m. and his interview was on 9:15 at 9:15. So he couldn't answer anything. So you are just supposed to know the newspaper. You are supposed to know the current happening, be it via digital mode or be it via hard copies. RBI.
Hmm.
You are supposed to follow the RBI website very thoroughly. uh, I think Anchit sir had made a video on what you are supposed to know on the RBI, what you are supposed to follow on our RBI website, and what you are supposed to not. So this is what I feel. RBI website, newspaper, and current happenings overall in the financial market.
Right. So, sir, there were some personal HR questions also asked in examination, or it was just totally based on the work experience and the technical questions?
Some were asked in personal, whatever I mentioned in biodata
Hmm.
regarding my hobbies, my gap years. There was a gap. There were gap years
Hmm.
of around 3 to 4 years. So I was asked about that.
Hmm.
My hobbies were asked, and yes, whatever there was in my biodata, my personal information, the questions were asked from that.
Right. So, aspirant should be thorough with whatever biodata he has provided because questions can be framed from that. Right.
Yes.
So, sir, one more thing. Were you did like that happened? Were you not able to answer a few questions?
Yes, yes, it did happen. A couple of times I couldn't answer the questions. It just went right above my head. So I just looked at the gentleman and I said, I'm sorry, sir. I do not know the answer, and I will get to it. I will, you know, get the knowledge of it." And they were the panel was quite polite, and
Right.
they did not have any cross questioning. They did not try to bring me down. So yes,
True.
you are not supposed to know everything, but you have to be very true. You have to be very true. You cannot fake anything in your interview. It gets on your facial expression, and then you are getting in trouble, and you are getting a lot of cross questions.
Right, true. So, sir, last thing that I want to ask from the interview, it is that your background, educational background is of engineering, and then gap year was for the various examination, and then finally you are now a working aspirant, so you're having a job. So much of the is what was it like you were asked question from your academic qualification, means questions from BTech, or was it revolving around your career only, because that is the latest among the three that is associated with you?
Yes. No, there were not a single question from my BTech background, because it has been quite a lot of years. It has been 7 years since I have been passed out.
True.
So they did not focus. I think they did not focus on BTech. That's why. But they asked me about my gap years, and then it completely revolved on my current working profile, what I do in the bank, what is this, what is that, what is my profile, my hobbies,
Hmm.
uh, and everything. Yes. So it revolved around my current happening, whatever is happening around my life in last 1 or 2 years.
Right, right. So that's very beautifully and comprehensively you have expressed about your strategies for all the three phases, and we are very happy because I know most of the aspirants, they are going to be benefited from that, who have seen various setbacks, and then who are also working aspirant also, because you somehow you touch all the phases of an aspirant life. So, so at the end, I would want you to ask that if you want to say something to the aspirant who are preparing for RBI.
Uh, Yes, first of all, you are supposed to be very, very patient. It is not that very few get into the RBI on in their first attempt, but most of them are attempting for second, third, or fourth, or even fifth time. So you are
True.
just supposed to have a lot of patience. You are supposed to be around a positive environment. Your friends, your family. You're supposed to be around someone who motivates you. You are not supposed to get down. It is normal to get down, but it is not good to not get up again and start preparing afresh. RBI, especially RBI exam, is getting tougher and tougher, but day by day,
Hmm.
it is changing a lot with the time. Be it pattern, be it the questions, you are supposed to know each and everything which is
True.
happening currently, especially in the exam. You're supposed to follow. You're not supposed to follow multiple sources. You're supposed to follow a couple of sources, be it newspaper, be it any coaching institute, or be it your the magazine. What I was
Hmm.
talking about, the about current affairs. So yes, I think the aspirant should be hopeful that they will get there. Uh, I personally had attempted for four times, and four time I got into it. There were seven struggling years. There was a lot of struggle, be it your personal life, be it your professional life,
True.
and you are supposed to आपको जो भी whatever you are learning in your life, you are supposed to get it right, and you are supposed to use it in your preparation, be it your perseverance, your patience, your practice, your dedication. It is what I think is
True.
that all matters.
True. That's really true. Perseverance is the key. So, thank you so much, sir, for joining with us, for sharing your views and your journey with all the aspirants who are preparing for RBI. And we wish you all the very best for the future.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.